What's poppin', everybody? I'm here with a familiar face. I'm here with Ben. We're gonna be doing the next installment in this mini series within Nighttime Nostalgia of interviews of the various STC members. I got Ben here for episode number 2 and whatever episode we're on Nighttime Nostalgia. I think this is like episode 17 or some shit. We're getting up there in the numbers, and tonight I'm gonna be having a candid discussion with Ben about all kinds of topics. So for the first thing I want to ask, in just a general sense, who is Ben Knight Prime?
Um, the Dastardly.
He is fucking dastardly. I can confirm that. I have seen him do some dastardly shit.
I'm just a dumbass who lives in Texas, watches anime, goes to school, and praises God, and hates women and minorities.
What more could you ask for?
Honestly, like, how am I fucking single currently?
I don't know. Women, they don't know what they want. They don't know.
Honestly, women rise down.
Women rise down. Just like the darker complexion people out there.
Yes, I've heard rumors of their rising down.
Amen. So, we all know the basic story of how we all met through chatting and stuff. But what I find really interesting is, in particular, is people's like individual stories of how they all got to that point. So, what made you like join YouTube and start chatting and the various chats, and then eventually going to Zap? Like, how'd you get involved with this whole community initially?
Okay, so it all begins on RuneScape. Like all great stories.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I first like started doing like online shit, really, like, playing the quest and all that shit, but talking to people on there, and I was like, hell yeah, people on the internet are pretty fucking cool. But during those days, I was Midnight 45. It was a prophecy of 45th President Donald Trump, obviously. But it's talking to people there. It's just like, well, RuneScape's cool. I bet there are people in the world who like Pokemon other than myself. And so I joined YouTube to comment on different videos of like creators I liked. And eventually I found my way to Chugga Conroy, and I was watching his LPs. I was like, hell yeah, this guy's pretty cool. And I was looking at his channel one day, and I just noticed a bunch of people like talk to each other in the comment on the channel comment section. And I was like, fuck, this is...
Wait, hold on. Did my audio go out, or did you go out?
Did I go? I don't know, man.
I think you cut out. So you said that you went on his channel and you saw the comments?
Yeah, I saw the comments, and I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? This is for, like, talking to the creator. But regardless, I started talking there, too. I was just like, hey, I've been blah, 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 blah. And I started to get to know the people who were frequent to the Chugga Conroy chat. I don't remember anyone's fucking name other than, like, Spartan. Or Shadow Spartan. He was, like, the first dude I talked to. And everyone else is a fucking haze. Like, I remember, like, personalities and how people acted. I just don't remember anyone's name. Oh, and Gemini was there.
Yeah, I was gonna bring Gemini up. I was gonna say, do you remember the infamous Gemini?
We did not really get along.
Nah, she definitely a polarizing figure from the very beginning. Not a lot of people got along with her.
Yeah, I remember, like, I can't remember what the fuck started it. It was like a religious debate where I was the only one being like, yeah, God is real and I believe in him. Everyone else was being a prick, and they're being like, no, there's no God, we're stupid, blah, 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 blah. And she was being a bitch about it. And I can't remember how it came to this, but Vivid Yoshi, I remember that name too. They were all right for the most part. Not in this story, though. They're like, well, Gemini is more creative than you. Midnight Prime, that's a stupid name. The meteor is way cooler. And even she was like, actually, I just stole this from an anime. And I was like, shit. It's just my name, Knights, which I think are, well, I thought were pretty cool back then. I think are pretty cool now. I like the night class servants in Fate, so I guess it's still pretty fitting. And Prime, because Optimus Prime, because I think Transformers just like recently came out at that point.
Yeah, they probably had some fucking movie or some shit.
I'm pretty sure it was the first Michael Bay movie, and I was like, hell yeah. I mean, I already liked Transformers before, but there was more hype in the moment.
Yeah.
So, hell yeah, Prime. Which has been my username on everything since. But, yeah, but then, like, I remember, like, Chucky Conway eventually shut the fucking comment section off. And people were like, what do we do now? And I cannot remember what the fuck it's called. But it was like something on YouTube that they had for a little while. It didn't last long at all.
Right. It was literally like, I don't even think it was like a real thing. I think it was like an experimental fucking chat thing they had on YouTube. It was literally just like a blip in time. Like it.
It was like a little chat room where you could also like watch videos. It was more or less like, it's pretty similar to Zat realistically, just YouTube. But then, like when that fucking went out the window, everyone's like, "Well, we're on Zat now," and I was like, "Okay," and I just followed, and that's where a lot of like the groups collided.
Right.
More so than whatever the hell that YouTube thing was. I wish I could remember what it was called.
Yeah, it definitely did not go well. I know that a lot of the Chuggaaconroy people, they ended up going to Super Skarmory, and then when Super Skarmory shut his down, a lot of them ended up going to Aurora Virus, and then Aurora Virus is like where you got people like me and Mop, and then eventually when Aurora Virus kept getting suspended, that's when like finally pretty much everyone said fuck it, and we all just kind of conglomerated on Zat, which is where I saw you for the first time, was on Zat. I don't know which one it was, probably like Poke Subway or some shit.
Probably.
And
the main ones remember were the ones run by Steven, which it's like 80% of them at least.
Yeah, that nigga, yeah.
Like being in control.
Yeah, he definitely enjoyed his control. Even the ones that he didn't make, he somehow always finessed like some high up position.
Yeah, he was always like, "Make me an admin," and people were just like, "Eh."
Yeah.
Listening to you bitch about it.
I don't know if he ever went on my Zat. If he did, I wouldn't have given him any fucking position, that's for sure.
Yeah. Nobody ever fucking used my Zat, so it didn't matter.
You know who the owners on my Zat were? Me and I think Alice, actually.
What was the name of yours?
It was super long. It was like it had no business being sung. It was called like Pokemon's video game anime fans.
That's bad. Mine was Pokey Vatican.
I do remember you telling us about that.
Yeah, it was like used for maybe like a day, but it was only like a few people, and then like nobody went back ever again. And it's like, fuck it. But and then like after like Zat, like I got bored of using Zat. I was talking to other like people at this point who were more into like Naruto, which I was more interested in than in Pokemon at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was kind of falling out of Pokemon because I didn't like Gen 5.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this. So let's put this like in a general timeline, kind of. So you joined the YouTube scene, Find Chuggaaconroy chat, like late 2009, early 2010, we'll say, and then 2010 is when the whole Zat migration is. And then early 2011, I think it was March 2011, Black and White come out, and you, much like me, were not fond of the game. And this is what kind of, this whole displeasure with Black and White, that's basically what precipitated you leaving this part of the internet for so long.
Yeah, I played, like when I got them, I played entirely through them.
Right.
It's like, wow, a lot of these Pokemon look lame as shit. My feelings have changed a little bit. Like, I don't hate a lot of them as much, but there's still definitely like designs I fucking hate from Gen 5.
Right.
Sock and Throw are the bane of my existence. The fact that as a living Dex completer I have them in my PC hurts me, but it's a necessary.
It's a necessary evil.
But yeah, like I got bored with those games. I just felt like I didn't connect as much with the group either, since there was like, I don't know, the people were like starting to act weird. A lot of them were doing a lot of different shit. So I was just like, well, I'm talking to these people more anyway, and I just kind of it slowly started fading out. Whereas like before I would like show up every day, to where it's just like maybe every other day, and eventually just like weekly appearances before I was just entirely gone.
Yeah, you definitely fell off pretty hard. So during this, not to give away too much of the story of Ben Knight Prime, but we'll say you ended up coming back in 2015. So there was kind of this 4-year period roughly where you were just gone. And so during that time, you said you were basically just talking to Naruto buddies.
Yeah, I was with Naruto friends. So like I was on one of the wikis. And so, like, I was talking to them on the wiki chat for a long time until a lot of us were like, all these fuckers suck dick. So we made our first Skype group, which lasted for a little bit, but there were some internal struggles that happened to where it kind of killed it for a while. And then until eventually, like, it came back more full swing, where it was a lot of like the older users compared to some of the newer users, except like one old user that we hated because he still acted like a complete fucking idiot. Still kind of, but he's a lovable idiot at this point, I guess. Kind of like Cam.
I feel.
He's like a smarter Cam. But yeah, I was with them, but I was on Skype, and I was just like, I wonder if anyone else I talked to is on Skype. And so that's where I eventually was like looking at like my subscriber, or like not subscriber, like who I was subscribed to. That's what I meant. And I was like, oh, hey, Mox and Lou. I was like, I remember them. They were pretty cool. And so like I reached out to both of them eventually, and I was just like, hey, what are you guys up to? I know I've been dead forever now. And Lou took a while to respond. He just like said something.
Yeah.
Like meme-ish. I can't remember what it was at all. But I remember like watching like, oh hey, I remember you. You're pretty cool. And we talked back and forth for a little bit until he's like, well, here's my Skype name if you want to add me there. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm on Skype. And so I added him, and then a little bit of DMs there until finally he was like, hey, there's a group of us still from the old days. Do you want to join it? And I was like, sure, fuck it. And that's how I joined whatever was STC before STC.
I guess at that point in time, you joined basically during Placenta Central, I guess.
Because like,
shit,
yeah,
which we'll get into that in a second. So essentially, what made you come back was just kind of. It was kind of just like a back and forth, you'd say, where you had issues with this group, compounded with the distaste left by Black and White, and then you had your Naruto group, and then there were like internal issues with the Skype group was kind of dead for a while, and then that led to you seeking out Mox and Lou, which kind of brought the whole thing full circle.
Well, at that point it was like there were internal struggles where we just went back to the wiki for a while.
Oh, okay.
We came back to Skype eventually, where we were more active there again.
Mm-hmm.
And this time it was like STC post Mox era. Where,
okay.
Except for like when Eric got added, but that's beside the point. That's a dark stain on STC history.
Yeah, we might touch on that.
But then I was like, well, if I'm on here, I can have more than one group, and it would be convenient. So
right.
I was like, I wonder if any of my old friends still exist, and that's where I reached out to them and got added here.
Okay.
So
during this 4-year period where you were kind of absent, a couple more, actually several more Pokemon games came out during that time. So even though you weren't active in the group, what was your relationship with the Pokemon franchise like? Did Black and White 2 do anything for you? Was it X and Y that brought you back, or what really got you back into it?
Well, after like I got after like Black and White came out, I stopped playing. Like I got to the point where I could transfer Pokemon, like from Diamond and Pearl up,
Mm-hmm.
and I got like all my favorites transferred up, and then I was like, okay, and then I turned my DS off and didn't really touch it for a long time, and eventually I saw the news Black 2 and White 2 were coming out, and I was like, well, I don't hate Pokemon, I was just disappointed with this entry.
Mm-hmm.
Played then I played Black 2 and White 2, and I was just like, man, this is better than the last one, but it's still not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, I'd say like X and Y is what brought me back full swing into Pokemon, and I think what brought me back in, I think, was definitely like kind of the hype of it being in a 3D environment. Finally, where it
Right.
was 2D playing, I was like, oh, that's cool. They're finally trying something new. And so I was like, well, I'll get these games. Got them. I enjoyed them pretty well. So I just realized my fan was off. I'm gonna fix that real quick. Fix it. Okay. Yeah. So that's where I was just talking with like the Naruto group. There was plenty of good number of people who like Pokemon there too. But and then that's just where I don't know. Eventually, just like well, I used to have like a group like pretty much dedicated to Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I was like, And I was like, well, I'm already on Skype. Pokemon's cool again to me. And then didn't Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire come out by this point too?
Yeah, they came out in 2014.
Yeah, so like I was especially hyped during that because like it was the first games I ever played were back and better than ever.
Right.
So yeah, it's Gen 5 was definitely a big disappointment for me. I didn't really care for it. I know a lot of people think it's like, oh, it has like the best story, but I disagree.
Yeah.
It's not awful, but
I definitely share your sentiments on Gen 5. For me, Pokemon Black and White 2, and X and Y, they were all like all in a row, just like they didn't do it for me. It was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that really brought me back into it. But I will say, having gone back and looked at the Black and White, I played when it first came out, but Black and White 2 and X and Y I didn't complete because I was just pretty much done with the Pokemon franchise at that point. But I will say, looking back at those games, having gone back and played them to the completion now, I think they're a lot better than I did when I first played, especially X and Y. I really like X and Y. And in Black and White 2, the second half of the game, in my opinion, is really great. I just never got to the second half of the game because I hated the first half back in the day. But yeah, I definitely do share your sentiments on Gen 5.
Mhm.
I still hate Black and White.
retweet. Black 2 and White 2 I can handle a little bit better now. Like I don't hate them. They're still not my favorite franchise.
Yeah, I feel.
They're at least like more palatable since you can use older Pokemon that you like combined with like whatever Pokemon you did like in Gen 5. So like, for me, like I like Superior. Samurot's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love Haxorus and Chandelure, so I was like, all right, I'll just kind of mix and match these and build because I for a long time I like to build teams where it's like pretty much exclusively new Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of got Black 2 and White 2 made me get over that pretty easy since I was like I don't want to use anything from this region really. Other than like Chandelure, which just become like my favorite Gen 5 Pokemon, so
Mm-hmm.
that should have been the fire starter.
Honestly.
Got it, honestly.
Fuck. So let's talk about the momentous day, the day that it finally happened. Like you said, Lou took a while to respond to you. I remember when I was going through some old Skype messages, I saw Lou said like 2 months before you were out of the Skype group, Lou was like, lol, Ben Knight Prime messaged me today. And then like nothing happened from that. And then there was another time, where we were I think it was Mop said, does anyone remember Ben Knight Prime? And I was like, damn, that's an old school bitch, son. And then fucking like just nothing had, like nothing happened. None of us thought like, oh, let's see what he's up to. I don't know why, but eventually, finally, you got added back into the group on June 5th, 2015. So this 2015 was a pretty big year for STC, or the group that would become STC later that year. So I gotta ask, what were some of your initial thoughts on the group? Because it was like as soon as you got added, like crazy shit started happening. It was right at the beginning of the summer, so activity went up like tenfold. All kinds of crazy shit happened that summer. What were your initial thoughts, being somewhat, not technically not new, but being reintegrated?
Well, I remember like the first message I sent was actually a picture of a guy killing himself.
Yeah, I think I have it. Let me see if I can find it.
No, I remember because like when I got added, there was already a call going on, and so I was like, okay, I'll join it. And I remember Lou said like, I'm gonna commit Sudoku, and I was like, oh hey, I've seen that meme, and I sent that, and that was my first immortalized message at STC.
Yeah, for those of you watching the video, I have it up on the screen right now.
But yeah, like my first impressions were like Lou, he didn't seem too different. He seemed pretty much the same as before. Mox, more or less kind of the same. Like at this point, like he didn't do anything that made me like, wow, this nigga dumb. Mm-hmm. But now I remember like Mop, because I didn't really remember Mop all too well. So like hearing his voice, I was like, holy shit, how many fucking ounces of crack does this guy smoke a day? Because he was crazy then, he's crazier now, but he's your boy, so you can't fucking hate him. Because he's a good crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like definitely Mob was the one who kind of made me feel like I fit into the group more, since he talked to me a little bit more in the beginning than like the other like some of the others in the group. Beyond like, yeah, actually I'd say you probably talked to me a little bit more than Lou and Mox. So, and then and like Cam, I don't remember really my first impression of Cam at all. Like when I got added, I was like, I remember this name, and I remember okay. There's like I don't really remember what like my first thoughts on Cam. Then I don't say pretty much the same thing with VG. Like he didn't really strike me in any real particular way. I immediately hated PGM's voice.
Oh yeah, how could you not?
Are you fucking amazing? Yeah. But and then like we talked about this before, but I thought you hated me for a long time.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's just that low, apathetic voice.
It must be, like I've said before, you were definitely not the first person to say that to me. So it's got to be something in the voice.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I think Mop said like he thought that a little for a while too.
Well, Mop thought that I hated him because I didn't let him into LPs for dinner. It didn't have anything to do with my voice. He just thought I hated him because I didn't let him in my collab group.
Yeah, what the fuck? But yeah, I was just getting like the only other person in the group I remember who was in there at the time. I know LD was in the group, but I don't remember her speaking whatsoever.
Yeah, she wasn't very active.
Like the only like thing I remember about her is like when we kicked Mox because he was like being a bitch about the truth or dare shit. What started like everything that led to SCC being basically.
Yeah.
Like we were like, wait, LD's still in the group. Don't add Mox back, and she just sent like a smiley face and added him back.
No, I literally DM'd her. I said, "Hey, we're just messing with." I could probably find the DM right now. Let me go see if I can find this shit. Okay, June 16th. 2015 at 1:25 a.m. I said, "Hey, if Mox messages you asking to be added back to the Skype call, ignore him. We're messing with him, lol." 1:27 a.m. 2 minutes afterwards, she says, "Oh, lol, I got that after the fact. I figured, so I am being mean. less than 3. I don't know what the fuck she means.
Yeah, that's the fuck.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. So I said, LOL, it's cool. Mox is still heated. We literally just kept hanging him up when he joined. I don't even remember doing that. But and then she said, yeah, he's just annoyed. So basically, the whole situation so first of all, LD was a dumb cunt who didn't read her DMs. Secondly, the situation as a whole was born out of the fact that we were playing Truth or Dare. And this Truth or Dare was a legendary game of Truth or Dare. We got VG to cuss out of it. He said, damn you, Mop, damn you. And then we also dared Mox to listen to, I don't know if it was just to watch My Little Pony or listen to the theme song. Something to the, I think it was just like watch the intro to MLP. I think Lou dared him. And
was it the intro or watch like the first episode?
It may have been watch the first episode, then later got...
Yeah, I think it was the first episode, and then it got like brought down to like, all right, just watch the intro.
Yeah, that might have been it. So Mox leaves the group, and then none of us add him back. We all just like, and then Mop is like, I left for comedic effect. Come on, guys. None of us add him back until LD does, and then I don't remember what exactly led to it, but somehow. I think it was that like Mox had some sort of power in that group, and so then we ended up. Oh no, it was LD had power in that group because I don't remember how LD ended up becoming like an admin in that group. So, but she was never active, so no one gave a fuck. So basically, that night to stop LD from like being able to add him back or any shit like that, we basically made a new group. Lou made it. Lou made the new group, which is now the still the main STC group, and then we basically just made that as the new group to make sure that Mox would have no power whatsoever, no way of getting back in or any shit like that. And we were firm and resolute, saying you have to do this dare or you are not getting added back in. And that whole thing just basically led to Mox being out of the group for a while, and it was great. It was amazing. Also at that time, you were there for my legendary Pokemon Ruby randomizer Greglock, which you got to witness the creation of some great memes right out of the gate. A lot of people, they gotta wait a while to see some great magic like that, but you were there to see me do my makeup pretty much like your first week here, so that's incredible. You were also, even before that, you were there for the series that kind of, I guess, inspired my Greglock, which was admittedly Mox's Pokemon Black 2 randomizer Greglock, which has been deleted off the internet. Fun fact, my Greglock is the only one still on the internet, because Mox deleted his Black 2 one, and Mop deleted his Emerald one, so my Ruby one's the only one left on the internet, so I guess I have a monopoly on that shit, but that's besides the point. Mox is the Black 2 randomizer. I remember... he's had me start off one of his episodes with a freestyle, and he was like hyping this up. He was like, yo, I want to get Willie to fucking freestyle at the beginning of one of my episodes. I don't know why, but I did it anyway. I obliged, and I did a pretty dope freestyle, and I remember that you were particularly impressed because you thought everyone was memeing. You thought I was gonna be like a 49 cent or a three pocket.
Vanilla Ice shit to happen.
Yeah, you thought I was gonna be whack, but then I came through with bars, and I remember you were like, "Oh, he's like actually a rapper."
Yeah.
So you got to see
I did
a lot
not
of
get
crazy
any
shit.
water.
Oh, you didn't get water?
Yeah.
Damn, son, I'm gonna take a sip of mine right now. If you want to go get some.
Yeah, I was gonna. If you wanted to keep talking, like some of the, I was walking with my laptop, so.
Oh, I got you. So you got to see a lot of crazy shit within like your first month of being at it, which is really, I find it really interesting that your addition was kind of like a watershed moment in our group's history, and the whole Mox thing was definitely a big moment because that I feel like that was the moment we realized we were like, wait a minute, if we don't like someone, we can just kick him out. Like, I feel like no one realized that until the Mox Truth or Dare thing, which was really mainly like me and Lou, kind of like, and Mop kind of spearheading the whole like he's got to live up to the dare to get back in, and
Yep.
Mox tried to do so many workarounds. Eventually, after being gone for like a month, we ended up reaching a compromise, which I think it was that he had to buy and listen to Mop's album at that time. I think No Words was the album, and
Yeah, then didn't he have to like do a review on it?
yeah, like I remember the call too, because he like listened to each track, and after each track, we made him like describe what it was like and what he thought of it and everything. Like it was basically just a dick stroking thing for Mop, but it was so funny because it was so emasculating for Mox. One, because he always talks shit about Mop's music, and two, because Mox just can't listen to any music that doesn't have a guitar in it. So it was definitely a good compromise in my opinion. Plus Mop got some money out of it, which is always nice. So that was really interesting, but it was. I do think there was a big moment because that had a lot of ramifications later, because it set a precedent. You know, people be like, "Oh, the Supreme Court case was a big one because it set a precedent for later cases." Well, I feel like that case, the STC court case of All versus Mox and Truth or Dare, was definitely a big precedent setter. Because we never really had an exile like that where like we've had groups splinter off before that and stuff, but we never had where like just all of us were just working together, like saying "fuck you, you've got to watch this or you're out of the group."
Honest. Yeah, and like, you know, like it kind of like set the groundwork for like you, me, and Mop becoming like a pretty like close trio, because like. I know Cam had to work. Like, I can't remember if PGM was working or not or something, and VG just has a bedtime still.
I don't think it was a VG had a bedtime de jour. I think he just kind of
he had a bedtime set for himself.
It was like a de facto bedtime. He just could not stay up for Real Nigga Hours. That I think he was actually how Real Nigga Hours started, because he always went to bed at like around 2:30 my time. So like around 1:30 his time, and I think that when he would leave, PGM would leave, and then eventually it would always be around like 3 o'clock when it would just be me, you, Mop, maybe Mox or Cam around there. So I think that was why we ended up saying that 3 a.m. was Real Nigga Hours.
Yeah, and then I remember like, because like generally they would all kind of break off and go to bed. And it was usually just like down to you, me, and Mop left, and we would just be up for long ass amounts of time talking about the most random bullshit.
Yeah.
And I remember for a while, like you were like the next one to go to sleep usually until you started staying up a lot longer, like me and Mop. Where that's where like where I was saying earlier, like Mop helped me feel part of the group. Where like generally it was just me and him left in calls for a long time.
Yeah, for real. 2015 is kind of where I started staying up late. Like there were nights I'd stay up till it was common for you to stay up till like 5 a.m. during that time. But I didn't really I didn't start doing all nighters until 2016. So it was there were definitely calls still in 2015 where it came down to just you and Mop, because man, back then that was when Mop was the kid. He could stay up forever. Now it's a different story, but back then Mop could stay up forever. And there definitely there were a lot of nights where I was also up super late during that time, but I wasn't quite on Mop's level of enlightenment at that point. And then there was also the fact that this is kind of a big piece, I think, of why Mox didn't come back sooner, is because right after the whole drama, I remember it was on June 28th was the first day that I went to this big prestigious thing. It's a 3-week summer academy thing called the West Virginia Governor's Honors Academy, and it was a 3-week thing for like the top 200 students in the state, and I went because it was like a big deal. No one from my school had gone in like years, so I felt obligated to go, and I ended up going, and you know, that put me on a regular human being sleep schedule, but it also kind of got me detached from the internet, because at that point in time I didn't have a laptop. I could only really communicate through my phone, and Skype Mobile sucks fucking cock, and and you know, I wasn't very active at that time, and you know, just because I was occupied with stuff, you know, I was there to learn and all that shit. So I think that put a hamper on. It's weird. I think it simultaneously put a hamper on Mox being harassed, because I was kind of like the main person harassing him for most of it. And then it also put a hamper on renegotiations occurring, because I was kind of like the person he was trying to reach out to as the negotiator. So it just kind of, me going to that thing kind of put the situation on a standstill. But then when he did come back, we had that, when I did end up coming back, I quickly made that compromise with him. And it, unfortunately, my promptness was not met with promptness. He did not buy Mop's album immediately. It took him like 8 paychecks to end up fucking finally buying it. But whatever.
Oh, let's not forget, like, just kind of to backtrack a little bit. When we split off into like the group that Lou made, that like became the home for STC until like now, until like probably sometime this week.
Right.
That's a spoiler, but whatever. We'll get to this eventually. But like on the original group, like I got added to first, it was like Mox tried to add people in there, like the most random assortment of people, where like I was still new, so he still was like, "Oh, I added you, so you could be in here."
Oh, you talking about the new cast?
New cast, and then like Sly.
So his name was Sly Coop. So it was basically when Mox got exiled for the LP thing, he was basically like, shit. And he realized he was kind of fucked, because he needed to continue his Black and White 2 randomizer. Now, a normal person would maybe have some other friends, you know, another friend group that they could just have hop on, or they would just solo com. They would have enough confidence in their own ability to talk over a video game. Not a hard thing to do, to just do solo com. But what Mox does is, like you said, he gets the most random assortment of people. Now, it was basically furries and you, because he got him, LD, and Sly Coops, which were, they knew each other from the Cat 333 Pokemon forum, so they were all like fucking furry role players together. And then they've just got Ben, the new guy, sitting there in the middle.
Yeah, and I remember it was like super funny, because like I was because I was like in the new group, and I was just talking like I remember like things that were going on in the LP. I would just like report on me like, this just happened. This is fucking dumb. Yeah. And I remember like when eventually like Mox did come back and we were talking about it, like I said something about it. He's like, "Oh, I knew you were spying." And
yeah,
like,
he said that like it was a grand revelation. It's like, no, dumbass. What did you think was gonna happen?
It's like, I and like no one asked me to do this. I was just like in there because I still didn't like have any negative opinion about him at that point. Right. But I was just like, I think these guys would get a kick out of hearing some of this dumb shit.
Yeah, it was a funny thing. Like, you know, first of all, none of us knew you got added in there. You told us by your own free will, and then from there on, just you were telling us about the funny shit going on there, because it was obviously going to be a funny, awkward cringe fest when you just throw a bunch of random people together like that.
Yeah, it's just like Sly Coops nigga is weird as shit.
I don't know what he's up to nowadays. There was also another kind of precedent set during that with the creation created by Mop, a short-lived Twitter during this whole fiasco made to attack Mox. It was called Placenta Central. Now, the placenta memes have been dead for a while. We haven't. In this day and age, placenta memes are not a staple of STC culture. But at that time, Mop was on a placenta kick. And when Mop's on a kick, everyone's on a kick. So...
yeah, I remember we like fucking came up for like fucking like ancient Greek names for one another through it somehow. For I think he was Tantalus Placentaneus.
Yeah.
And I was Placentinus Maximus.
The placenta shit was so funny. We were calling ourselves Placenta Central, which is pretty interesting considering later that year we become Shit Talk Central. But it was just interesting to have a conglomerate name. Not only is uniquely named as Placenta Central, but just having Central a name, kind of having that continuity with STC. But unfortunately, the Placenta's Central Twitter itself, which was amazing tweets, really at the peak of quality of Twitter, had a big fat rainbow dash as the icon. It ended up getting deleted by Mop because stupid little nigger ended up somehow, when he created it, he linked it to like either his real Twitter or his Facebook or some shit, and people from his school started seeing it.
Yeah, I remember it's like I had to delete it because people were being like, "Hey, what's Placenta Central?"
Yeah. So rest in peace, Placenta Central.
Honestly, it lives on. Like, you know, it's like a phoenix. Out of the ashes of Placenta Central, we got Shit Talk Central.
Exactly.
It's just like a weird fucking conspiracy group against fucking GN.
Yeah. Another interesting thing you got to witness that summer was the first interview I did with Mop,
Mm-hmm.
in which he infamously claimed that the crickets were fucking his dad in the ass.
It's like really atmospheric. It's like, crickets fucking my dad in the ass. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck? When I first heard that.
So your first couple months, really just that whole summer with STC, couldn't have been better timed. It was very momentous, and that momentum kind of carried into the fall. So
Actually, like, I think the interview with Mop, I think that might have been either my first call or my first call with Mop.
yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was. I guess we could check like the interview date later, but
Well, I know I uploaded the interview in July, but I feel like I recorded it like a month before I actually uploaded it. I think it was one of those situations. I could probably find the original recording somewhere on my computer and tell you, but yeah, it was definitely really early in your career.
Mm-hmm.
But that momentum definitely carried into the fall, and in November, as we covered last year in our Nighttime Nostalgia on collab channels, Shit Talk Central, formally with the name, was created, and you were there for the real inception of it. So what were some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought it was just funny as hell because like I remember like some of the first shit we did was just like being like you know, like, oh, John killed Iwata, and like there was a bunch of like we did like a bunch of like whack ass conspiracy shit. Like I remember like linking like random images of hieroglyphs, being like, this shows like he planned this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like I remember like it starting to form up, and I was like, okay, this could be fun. And then it's like, let's see. 3 years later, it's still fucking fun.
It was a joke that was taken way too far.
Yeah. I was like, remember we fucking like raided his fucking like Twitch streams and shit, being like John killed Iwata. We had like some random dude we've never talked to before joining on it, being like John killed Iwata. Like,
yeah, he was going in.
And was it like the inception of me being called Bink Knight Prime?
Yeah, I think that was where they called you Bink or some shit.
Because like Bink's doing this is like it's Ben.Knight.Prime. Like, how is this hard to understand?
Some fucking dumbass on John's thing was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta ban that Bink guy." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I would say it's an isolated incident, but it happened like later. I was watching like an M&J stream. I'm pretty sure I could find it too. But it's just like I sent like a $1 like ask. Oh, this one might have been a free one. I think he's a pretty good YouTuber still, but one of the few PokeTubers I can stomach. But I remember asking him something, and he was like, something Burke. What the fuck? That's even worse than Bink.
Yeah, like there's no R in that whole fucking thing until you get to Prime. How did you fucking see an R there?
I guess the only thing I can think is like since he was streaming, I think it was a shiny hunt. Maybe he like looked at it really quick and saw the N as an R or something.
Yeah, it's possible.
But even that's like the fuck Burke. He did see my correction. He's like, "Oh, Ben, sorry." I was like, "I don't care, my nigga."
So, John did kill Iwata. That's not the joke that was taken too far. The joke that was taken too far was just in a general sense. John really did kill Iwata, and we need justice for Iwata.
That's fucking true. It's like there are things that are true, like fucking Iwata. Like John killed Iwata. Hitler was a good guy, and Bush did indeed plan 9/11.
These are all facts, and that's what we spit here. It's the facts. So our fact spitting, took a new name in November of 2015. Shit Talk Central, a really great fitting name. I feel like that was our final evolution. Like we were like a Pokemon, and we had several evolutions. That was the final. That was our mega evolution. Well, mega evolution, I guess, was when we finally kicked all the fucking cringe lords out. But that was our final evolution. But prior, so I wanna kind of do what I did with Mop and talk about things in the sense of pre-STC. And then the STC era. So, what are some of your... I know you, for the most part, you were absent during it, so you're going to have to really think far back in your memory banks. But I am interested to hear, what were some of your favorite pre-STC moments with this sort of general group?
Well, I remember back on Zat, like, one of the big things I can remember is, like, when I did my, like, first face reveal. It was, like, Lou was trying to capture Suicune, I want to say. I can't remember if it was like a shiny hunt Suicune or if it was just normal Suicune. I'm pretty sure it was just a normal Suicune. He was just like playing through the game for fun. And like he kept trying to catch it, and he kept fucking it up and not catching it until like people were like doing like random bets, like if you catch it this time, I'll do blank. And there were a few things like people said till eventually I was like, all right. If you catch it this time, I'll reveal my face. And people are like, oh shit, you gotta catch it this time. And it was like, I can't really control that, but I'll try. But, the Pokeball shook once, and I was like, it's not gonna open. 2 times, like, yeah. 3 is like, oh fuck. And then, like, the stars went off, I was like, god damn it. And so I, like, grabbed some random picture of me in middle school where I was, like, getting ready for the show choir I was in middle school, and people were like, wow, you look really preppy. I was like, wow, I'm not. I'm really poor. Please give me money. And by the way, if you want to give me money still, just hit me up on PayPal, or we can work something out.
Yeah, true. We need that money to fund our big projects.
Mm-hmm. And pay my bills.
Yeah, to pay my bills, I need that money. So, speaking of our big projects, let's then move into the era of STC. What have been some of your favorite STC memories?
Getting into the group, like the late night calls with Bob, where we were like up till like this, like the sun went down and then the fucking sun come back up, and my parents would walk and be like, did you stay up all night? It's like, yeah. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, I feel that, Billy.
Billy. But, those were pretty fun. Like, the crickets fucking my dad in the ass. That was a wild fucking way to start. Like,
well, the crickets was technically pre-STC, if we want to be technical.
Technically.
But it lives on in STC forever.
Yeah. It's like Abraham. He was born before like the Jewish people were really established. But like everyone's like, oh yeah, that Jew. Abraham.
Yeah, right.
My grandma had a fucking like he's not a Jew. It's like, yeah, shut up, you old bat. But I'm trying to think of like some of the other like STC like really big moments that were great. And like, obviously, like watching like Mox finally have to watch the fucking MLP opening.
Oh, that is such a good moment.
Mm-hmm. And then like the lead up to it was like the fucking Panthers getting beat by the Broncos.
Yep.
I knew it was either the Broncos or the Colts because it was made funnier by the fact that he was beat out by a fucking horse team.
It was literally, if anyone ever questions if God is on STC's side, just look at the Super Bowl of 2016. That could have never happened without divine intervention.
Honestly, the most random two words thrown together that have so persist now. The inception of Blunt Night.
Yeah, that's a good recent one.
Mm-hmm. And to go back for a similar two words put together that make a fucking miracle. Trump Night.
Trump Night was a good night.
Like the lead up to the vote where it was like all the politics going around, people like I think this, I think that, and like the group like coming to like pretty conservative consensus.
Everyone in the group liked Trump except for DD2 because DD2's a nigger, and VG because VG doesn't understand anything about politics.
There were because I remember that night, like this wasn't really SCC, but I was in SCC, but I was just like staying up watching it, and then my dad came into the living room and he was like, I didn't really want to watch it, but I'm restless, so. And I just remember like sitting on the couch with my dad watching the votes go in, come out, and finally like all of a sudden it's like the 45th president-elect is Donald Trump, and I was like, fuck yeah.
Dude, it was so fucking... That was probably the best night of my life, in all honesty. Like, even though it wasn't... Just everything about that night just was so... It was so amazing, just so powerful. Dude, I remember I was in my friend's apartment, and, like, I'd be fucking... I was multitasking like a madman. Like, I'd be like checking shit on my phone and like looking at the results of individual counties, and I'd be watching the TV, and I'd be like fucking handing a beer to my friend, and then I'd fucking like be in the STC chat calling DD2 a nigger and just doing all this shit at the same time. And then DD2 rage quitted from the chat, and then I started shit talking him on Twitter, and then just so much shit was going on all at the same time, and then it just ended with President-elect Donald Trump. I fucking had class that next morning at like 9:30 a.m. and I was up till like 6 a.m. just running on raw energy, and then I fucking got up and fucking on like fucking 2.5 hours of sleep, and I went to class, and I didn't feel tired at all. I was just running on pure energy. I remember I tried to take a nap in between my classes that day. I couldn't do it. I was still just so pumped up. And the best thing for me, I know I fucking just totally hijacked your question, but I love talking about election night. The best thing for me was that next day, we're just walking across campus, and from the day I moved in August all the way up to election day, every day you couldn't walk across campus without being bombarded by all these different organizations supporting Hillary, trying to get you to vote and all this bullshit. We were walking across campus and nothing, just peaceful silence. No shills out on the sidewalk. No one shoving a clipboard in my face trying to get my signature for some bullshit. It was just pure, serene silence, and I just soaked it all up that morning. It was amazing.
I'm imagining you like that fucking episode of SpongeBob where Squidward's like, and now I can be all alone.
Alone. Dude, that episode was trippy.
Yeah, that was a great episode. But yeah, I remember like that, like after that night I was like, I think that was like just recently after I got made an admin or something, because I remember I changed the name to 45th President Trump Daddy.
Well, I think anyone can change the group name, but I do remember that that was our title for a while.
Hmm. But yeah, and then and then I remember like how it lined up. Like I didn't have a class Monday, and so or I can't remember exactly how it lined up, but whatever the case was, like I didn't have like class immediately after the election.
Mm.
And so when I got back to school, I remember like my communications professor, she was like, yeah, I canceled class because like so many fucking fuckers kept messing me like, I can't believe Trump became president. I'm like, wow. It's like, wow, they're fucking weak.
Oh.
I didn't say it out loud because I didn't want to get a fucking like mouthful of it, but I was like, y'all weak as shit if you fucking can't go to school because the fucking person you didn't vote for got elected. If Hillary won, yeah, I would have been like, yeah, this fucking sucks, but I still would have gotten up and do whatever I need to do.
Yeah. Exactly. There were literally people crying in my fucking class, which just made it so much better. Just fucking, I go to class, this fucking bitch is. I remember there was this bitch. She was wearing an Obama 2012 shirt, and we ended up doing like some fucking activity in that class. Where it was like you had to like partner up with people, and you like alternated partners for different things. It was this weird like freshman survey class. It wasn't like even a real fucking class. It was 1 credit hour, but everyone's required to take it. So I got at one point I was partnered up with this chick, and I kind of knew this chick. I had talked to her outside of class some because I also had calculus with her at the time too. So we talked about how much we hated calculus and all that shit. So I kind of knew this chick. Her name was Tess, and I fucking pair up with her, and I'm like, "Hey Tess, how are you doing?" I'm purposely asking because she's obviously doing terrible because she's wearing an Obama shirt and Trump just got elected president, and she's literally like sniffling. She's like, not good, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but the inside I'm like, no, I'm not, bitch, fuck you. It was just so great just seeing all these fucking people. Even the professor was like borderline on tears. Like I thought the professor's like if you didn't know, from the way the professor was talking, she was all monotone and quiet. And that some professors are just like this, but this professor was normal. She was normally very upbeat and happy. She was just like, "Hey guys, today I'm doing," and I thought like her kid died or some shit, but she was just upset that we didn't get Madam President.
Yeah, I remember like it was funny because I had like before the election went down, like I had a class with big like. Huge black dude. Like he looked like Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
Yeah, if Uncle Phil ate another Uncle Phil though. But like he was like yeah, Trump's cool. He's got this, he's got that. And I was like, fuck yeah. But I remember like going down because I had an economics class, and the fucking like professor for that class, he was like, fuck yeah, Trump got elected, because he was like super fucking right wing in class. He was like, yeah, the Keynesian model's fucking garbage. Socialism's retarded. And if you actually think communism is good, you should get shot. Literally, but you know. I feel like if I talked to him one-on-one, he'd say that.
Yeah, I feel like econ professors are typically your best bet at finding pretty much your only bet at finding a right-wing professor.
History is hit or miss. I think it's kind of a mixed bag there.
Yeah, I guess there may be some. Pretty much all the history professors I've had have been super liberal, but I could see there being some conservative ones. But with econ, man, most of them, it's kind of funny that when you actually understand economics, you typically aren't liberal. But that's besides the point. Back to STC, the election night definitely was momentous because, one, it resulted in DD2 leaving the group, just rage quitting, and two, I feel like it revitalized STC. Just the spirit of Trump, it's so contagious. And I think STC kind of caught a whiff of the Trump spirit and got really activated, both in terms of like activity online and then just also in terms of like in life, like our attitude, I feel like just became more get shit done.
Yeah, we didn't have a name for it at that point, but looking back at it, it was definitely Dragon Energy.
That's Kanye hit it right on the head. It's Dragon Energy. Trump's got it. He's got it. We've got it.
Mm-hmm. It's fucking spectacular, man. And then obviously, like, you know, the meetup we just had, and the first meetup, like the inception of it, like fulfilling Lou's dream without that fucking bitch.
Honestly, yeah.
Up on Red.
Yeah, leaving people on Red, not messaging Mop on his birthday, not a good look for Lou. He's a sad story. He's definitely a sad story. But I was actually going to ask you about the meetups because you currently in the STC standings, you have the third best attendance rate of meetups, me being second, Mop being first. You were at the very first one, and you were at the most recent one, both of our summer meetups. When you first joined this community, did you ever think that you would be meeting us in real life?
Fuck no, I didn't. Honestly, I wasn't even sure how long I'd be in the group. Like with Mox leaving, I felt like for a while I kind of felt like he was like the reason why I was there. So I felt like my time was possibly limited. So like, you know, obviously like going like multiple months, like, you know, being in the group like all the time, like no Mox was there, but then like, you know, all the other shit. That's where like I started feeling more confident in the group, like being, you know, fitting in better. And then like eventually when I was like, Rob, like let's fucking do the meetup, and I was like, okay. I can't imagine my dad being upset about that. And then like it kept building up to where like eventually it's like, all right, the fucking plane ticket is officially booked. I remember my dad paid for it because I had passed all my classes and I was officially like I had like my transcript in to like go get over to UTD, and he was like super proud. So he was like, I think it was also 4th of July. Or
yeah,
maybe
I think it was around 4th of July when you were like, my dad just said he'd pay for the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it was. I remember he had a few at that point.
Yeah.
I was feeling like, all right, I had like all A's for like these last 3 summer classes, and he just had like he just had a smile, and I was talking about the meetup. It's like, so I can't remember exactly what I said, but he like looked at my mom and was like, he got all A's, let's pay for it, and she was like, all right, I guess. And then it's just like, all right, this is actually happening. And so the plane ticket got booked. And that's where, like, one way or another, I guess I'm hanging out with Mop for a week.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then, like, y'all, I know, like, you got your, like, yeah, you can go, but we're leaving on this day, and then you have to leave this day. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, I didn't get as much time as you last year, but it still happened, and we had a lot of doubters. We had a lot of doubters among our own ranks. Cam, fucking bitch. But it happened, and then it happened again this year, and Cam was there, and it's just going to keep getting bigger and better, I feel. So I'm glad that we started the yearly tradition of our summer meetups, and I'm glad that me, you, and Mop were there for the first one.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't change for the world. The only thing I would change is like make you stay longer.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Some things are out of my control.
Ain't that the truth? We can't control everything.
But yeah, I remember like Cam being like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen," and then he was like making fucking memes about it in the fucking Cool Kids Discord server.
Yeah.
They're just staying in the fucking basement the whole week. Yee
hee. Ugh.
Yeah, gross. I know.
But Cam is much better now. He does not communicate with those sick fucks, as far as I know. And he made it to the meetup, and he was super cool to hang out with during the meetup. So props to Cam on being #reformed.
Honestly, like I think the meetup, like Like, I've never hated Cam. Like, he's definitely pissed me off. No one can debate that. I would be a lying sack of shit if I said otherwise. But I think the meetup has definitely, like, helped our friendship, not be one based on you're a fucking spick and I'm going to kill you in your sleep. It's more like you're a fucking spick and I'm going to kill you in your sleep. But how was your day, man?
Now it's you're fucking spick, and instead of killing you in your sleep, I'm gonna drown you.
But I didn't know you couldn't swim, so it's only accidental manslaughter. Woo. I don't worry, STC who views this. I bought him something.
You got him CC's.
Yeah, I paid for his CC's. Originally it was gonna be Chick-fil-A, but I didn't hear him like trying to like talk to me in the line at all, and then like Maple Donuts Mop just took care of it. So when we got this, oh wait, no, we went to Maple Donuts after.
After
so
CC's,
that wouldn't matter. Yeah, when we got the CC, it was like 2 people, and they're like, okay, it's like I can't remember how much it was, but I was like, damn, oh well.
Yeah, I think it was like $10 a person or some shit.
Yeah, it was like 20-something bucks.
Yeah, which, I mean, considering that you can get all the food you want, that's not that bad. But I feel like they've kind of upped their prices.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely the meetups, great STC experiences. I think it's amazing. It's what I always wanted ever since I first joined this community. Even 2010, I remember thinking like, damn, I wish that I could just hang out with my fucking online friends somehow. And it took 7 years, but it finally happened. It happens semi-regularly. I've been on 3 meetups, 3 of the 4 that have occurred, and I've been just like Ben and Mop on the two main ones, the 2 big yearly summer ones, and it's really what I looked forward to this whole summer. Honestly, like this whole summer, I feel like it was just leading up to that meetup. That was really just all I wanted.
Yeah, honestly, like this summer, like I got the job, so I was just like, all right, I'll have a little bit more money to like play with since we're actually doing more things this summer. And like plan, like I know I had like plans to go to like CC's, to
Chick-fil-A.
We're gonna go to the Chick-fil-A. There was
Noodles and Co.
Yeah, Noodles and Co. There we go. I wish we had Noodles and Co. down here. I kind of miss that shit. Noodles and Co. If you're watching, fucking bring your ass on down to Dallas. I need some truffle mac and cheese.
Noodles and Co. When I go back to Columbus, I might try going there more often. Now, I wasn't incredibly happy with what I got at your York location, but there was definitely potential there, and I want to try some more of the menu. I always avoided it just because, like I said, everyone that I know around where I go to school, everyone that like never shuts up about Noodles and Co. They were all faggots, so I was like, this food either attracts gays or it makes them gays or something. So I'm gonna avoid it. But now I think it's just coincidence. I've had similar experiences like that. One was this local. It's basically like an Asian Chipotle. Basically, it's called Bibi Bop, and I fucking every time I saw this food, most of the people eating it were fucking Chongs. So and I fucking despise all the Chinese students at Ohio State. So that was a red flag. And 2, the food smells awful. Like they would bring it into the library and they would open it, it would stink up the whole library. And I've been like, dude, what the fuck? So I always avoid it. But then one day my friend took me there, and I was like, whatever, I guess I'll try it. And it still smelled pretty bad. But then I started eating it, and I was like, holy shit. This tastes amazing.
Fucking there's a Vietnamese bistro like right next to the community college I went to for like the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like I was talking to my friend Jay, and he like brought some in, and I was just like, man, that shit smells awful. But I remember like And it was like a long ass waiting period between one of my classes, and he's just like, "I'm hungry. You want to go get some lunch?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Where?" It's like, "Let's go to that Vietnamese bistro." And I was like, "You fucking sure about that, G?" And we went, and I got it, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty fucking good." I remember that's actually where like I hammered out like the last fucking part of my ethics final paper. I was in there with some Mongolian beef and drinking a fucking smoothie of some variety. And I finished that shit there, and I was like, I am fucking done with this paper talking about... I don't even remember the dude's name now. Oh, what was it? It was like that dude who like abandoned his post because he wanted to be like fucking Rambo and do badass shit in Iraq, but...
Oh, fucking... I can't remember the name either.
Yeah, basically what I'm getting at is fuck him. He made me write the gayest fucking paper ever.
Fucking
and, like,
true.
There were daily debates, like being like, "Oh, he's like wrong. Oh, he didn't do anything really that wrong." And it's just like, "Oh, you fucking suck." Oh, well, that wasn't really my final paper. That was the big paper. Like the final paper was just like being like, "Here's my view of ethics," and it's just like moral absolutism.
My view of ethics: 54% of women ejaculate during rape.
Yeah. I remember like my topic was like my thesis, I guess, was like using moral using moral relativism to reach an objective truth or something like that. It was a pretty interesting paper. Like, if I do say so myself, I remember my professor being like, "That sounds kind of fucking cool. I look forward to reading that." I remember like even like the big anti-Catholic, I hate the Christian church bitch in the class. Even she was like, "Okay, I guess you're not a complete fucking asshole." Well, she didn't like me because she knew I supported Trump and I was indeed a Christian. So she's like, "Yeah, fuck you, then." But I was like, "Yeah, nobody gives a shit what you have to say, you fat, ugly whore."
Retweet.
All I remember is I talked to this dude named John and a black guy whose name I don't remember off the top of my head. If I tried read, I think it began with a J for some reason. But that doesn't fucking matter. Who cares? They were pretty cool, though. John was a liberal cuck, but he wasn't a fucking piece of shit, so.
That's good.
He is further evidence that the military is gay.
Oh, that could be a whole episode in itself. Fuck the troops. That's all that I will say at this point in time. Nighttime Nostalgia, episode 18. Why the troops are gay. I'll just go through every soldier I've ever known. This guy was gay because of this. This guy was gay because of that. So,
what is the common denominator? The military.
Exactly. The military and Viking dick and getting married early and driving either pickup trucks or like fucking like Camaros.
You just like came after the entire population of my church. Nah, the ones we have, they're good old Baptist boys, so they're not pieces of shit who worship Satan.
Yeah, they don't like dick.
Yeah. It's like, I hope my son's gay. I'm gay.
Dude, that Pastor Anderson video I sent.
Yeah. But you know what I don't want? For my son, fucking faggot.
Or a pervert or sodomite. But anyway.
Or a pervert or sodomite. But anyway, I love his transition. Like, he went from being, like, obscenely angry to where he's like, but anyway.
Yeah. It started off, he's like, being nice and joking. Then he goes straight into fucking, like, straight up rage. And then on, like, a fucking snap of a finger, he's just, like, back to, like, casual. But anyway.
Yeah, I remember like when he started saying that shit, I was like, damn, are my frequent gay jokes? Does he really think I'm gay now? And then I got to, but you know what I don't want him to be? A filthy faggot, sodomite or a pervert. But anyway.
But anyway, we've reached probably about full episode time. I think this has been going on for a little over an hour, so I'm going to close out with my final question here. What is the future of Ben Knight Prime?
Killing myself.
Oh, making a lot of suicide jokes.
I just fucking do it, Jerry. Fuck my life. It's a loveless marriage. But yeah, honestly, just like, you know, more of the same. Trying to finish up my hustle at UTD. Get like all my shit done there. Thankfully, I don't think anyone watches these, so I don't think I have any fear of getting reported to the student body.
Yeah, I feel.
Probably by the time someone does, I'll already be out. So
yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, finishing up school, obviously, like that we're all striving to get there. Even though like I got to go back for a master's eventually anyway, so I'll be back in like for a while. But that's beside the point. You know, honestly, like preparing for the future of STC, the upcoming transition to a new platform.
Oh yeah, true.
That will be an upcoming nighttime nostalgia.
Yeah. Whenever Mom comes fucking home from the fucking shittiest state in the fucking nation.
Honestly, like, nigga, you know Eric lives there, right? Oh shit, we didn't even talk about Eric, really?
Yeah, I mean, we gave him his own whole episode. We don't need to talk about his ass.
I remember, like, I remember you, like, saying something about that, like, later, but...
Yeah, I think I was just going to talk about how much you hated him, but we kind of already did that. And the last episode, which we recorded during the meetup, everyone go watch that if you haven't. It's a great episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a fun fact, I just want to point out, if you watch that video, you notice toward the end that Umbi keeps trying to end the fucking episode saying it's been going on long enough. I went through every episode and looked at the length. That episode that Umbi said was too long is literally the shortest episode in the entire series.
No, like, I can agree, it definitely felt like it was going on for a while, but probably because, like, the topic was Eric, and, like, he fucking...
I just, like, I remember saying to her, like, that was probably one of the shorter episodes in the series. When I went back and looked, no, I was wrong. It's literally the shortest episode in the series.
Honestly. But yeah, you know, like, getting through school, obviously, like, you know, getting through the rest of my fucking internship, which I only have, like, 2 weeks left for that. So, you know, obviously keeping up with the, you know, STC, like, I have no intentions of leaving or anything like a hiatus or shit like that, unless, like, it's like, for, like, you know, like when I was gone at fucking the camps or shit or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, and just making sure that everyone knows that I am the Dastardly.
He is the Dastardly. So, you got 2 years at UTD left, and after that, are you going straight into teaching, or are you going straight into your master's?
I'll probably try to get a job at a school first and, like, see what their, like, policies are in regards to helping, like, pay for a master's. Since, like...
Yeah, that's smart.
My dad, like, he gave the same deal to my sister, where it's, like, the thing of, like, he pays for my classes. If I pass the class, fantastic, the debt's forgiven. If I fail the class, I have to pay him back, plus book plus 10%. And so far I have not given him any fucking money, because I'm big brain nigga. I'm gonna keep it that way. But he said he will do that for me, like, for the bachelor's and to the master's as well. But he said, like, once you, like, get your bachelor's, get a job and try to see if your school will help, because yeah, like, you cost a lot of money, fucker.
Well, that's smart. So in a couple years, is Ben Knight Prime possibly coming to a high school near you?
Honestly. And then like you said, like if you want a doctorate, that shit's on you, fucker.
Yeah, you don't need no doctorate to be teaching secondary education.
Yeah, that is definitely the truth. But if I ever wanted to teach at college and get some college pussy.
I was gonna say big bucks, but the college pussy also on the table.
Why not both, honestly?
Exactly. I'm sure that's what a lot of professors do.
Yeah, like I know that their code of conduct and ethics, or they're not. But we all know the professor's fucking the student on the side at least one point in their life, probably.
Yeah. But, oh, and we're also going to have Ben doing a verse on Mop Frizzy. I'm really just saying that to remind myself, because I need to send him the beat and the point where we need him to do his verse, which I'm going to do almost as soon as this is over. Do not let me forget to send you that shit, because we're quickly approaching the release of Mop Frizzy. We still got a lot of work to do, but we're going to get it out for you guys. We're going to get this amazing album out, and it's going to be a great way to end off the summer. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more nighttime nostalgia. Do you have any more closing words, Ben?
Just remember for that shit. First off, I'm not a rapper, so
stop rapping at me.
Yeah. So don't judge your boy too harshly. It's probably gonna be painful.
No, we knew that you were not a rapper. That's why we made the part where we want you to rap half the length of mine and Mop's verses. So we're not putting too much pressure on you.
I will undoubtedly, though, be superior to Mox and PGM's attempts at rapping and
my gosh. Oh, I am glad we have moved past the era of when Mox thought he was a good rapper. That was dark. You weren't really around for that. Let me tell you.
But I got to hear the recording.
Yeah, you got to hear the recording.
Penis pump.
That penis pump.
Yeah. It's like your boy is like maybe a Vanilla Ice, but compared to fucking like them, I'm like fucking Ice Cube in his prime.
Yeah, honestly. Whew. That's a dark memory to end on, but I guess that's the way it's got to be.
It's just, not every story has a happy ending.
The happy ending will be when Mop Frizzy comes out on August 17th, 2018, and anyone that does not purchase that album, whether it be on Bandcamp or iTunes or any of the multitude of platforms where it will be available, if you don't purchase it, or if, in Ben's case, if you don't have a free coupon for it, it's going to be, you are going to be on the wrong side of history. People are going to write history books where they say, you're going to be looked at like the guards at Auschwitz. They're going to be like, these people stood by and did not support the greatest album of the century. So that's your warning. Start saving your money now for August 17th.
If you don't, honestly, first off, I am Aristotle. Second off, you probably think that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is stronger than Mop, which is a confirmed fucking lie. Fake news.
Fuck anyone who says that.
Honestly. Those are the niggas who should have been in the Holocaust.
Yeah, exactly.
Along with the Jews and the homeless.
Exactly.
And the disabled. And the physically disabled. Everyone who was in the Holocaust.
They had it coming. Just like the fake fans are going to have it coming.
Fake Fan Holocaust 2018.
Fake Fan Holocaust. Alright, that'll do it for this episode. Don't be a fake fan. Don't get caught in the gas chambers. Leave a like and a comment. Peace.
Peace.